I remember during my, sometimes I forget about this, that I went through this and I did this kind of stuff. I remember, during my perfect storm where I had the 70 symptoms, but even before that, I had these little crutches and compulsions and obsessions and things that I did that drove my baseline through the roof and made my bucket full right quick. And I got my brain to throw out alarms like crazy, right? And I was just putting fuel into the fire and creating a cycle of chronic illness and ruminating, freaking out, catastrophizing constantly, and symptoms would always pop up. And I remember I used to carry around a thermometer. I remember I had a thermometer at home in a drawer. I had one in my car. Actually, at that time, I had one in my truck. I had a truck, then a car, then I had one. Like all my vehicles, I had thermometers. And I was checking my temperature 5 times a day because I became obsessed with my temperature. Like, oh, because, I didn't want an infection. And what does this mean? And my heart rate. Oh, man, that was another thing. I used to check my heart with a heart monitor. So I used to check my blood pressure and my heart. And I had this little heart monitor, blood pressure monitor. It was running on batteries. I used to change so many batteries on that thing. And I brought it with me everywhere. If I was going to my mom's, I'd bring it with me. I'd leave it in the car. If I was going anywhere, I'd bring it constantly. I was checking my blood pressure and my heart rate because my heart rate was elevated, right? Because I had tachycardia, and it was at resting heart rate was at 110 to 120 for no, it's just, and I learned how to check. I was constantly checking my heart rate. I was like, what the hell? Because I went through a period when I was at the height of my fight or flight where I couldn't feel my pulse. It was very faint. That scared the fuck out of me. So I was like, what the fuck? Why can't I feel a pulse anymore? I remember that if I just walked from here to there or up and down the stairs, that my heart would be boom, 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 and I could hear it in my ear. Now, when I check my heart, it feels like it's in the next room. It's like, right? So what some of the shit I used to do. I'm sure some of you guys can, understand. I used to run around in a circle in the basement to get my heart rhythm going, right? So I'd go, fuck it. If I gotta have a heart attack, let's bring it on right now. Let's have a heart attack. So I remember I'd run around the room 5 times, and then I would check my heart rate, and then I would put my finger to it, and it was still faint. I'm like, this does not make sense. Oh my God. So how many times did I go to the hospital and go say, what's going on? And I'm like, look, it's elevated. And they're like, yeah, that's normal. People, sometimes it's elevated. So your heart's elevated. But this is not an emergency. So we're going to send you home, make an appointment with your doctor. And I'd be like, I would still be ruminating. So I was always checking my blood. When the batteries ran out, what would I do is I would go to the pharmacy. I'd go to the local pharmacy or the grocery store. And I would sit, the booths that they have where you put your hand in, right? And you sit down and you press the button. And it would have a printout. And it would be, these lights would flash and it'd say the normal amount. And then it'd have these little graphs and everything. I was on there almost every fucking day, right? So I would go there, I'd sit down and put my arm in, right? I'd press start, it would inflate up, right? And I would, I would do it, and it would show me a number that I wasn't happy with. And I'm like, whoa, that's too high, that's bullshit. And I would be, I'd be triggered. I'm like, what the fuck's going on? I'm going to have a heart disease. I'm going to have high blood pressure like my mom. I'm going to have cancer. I'm sick. I'm fucking, blah, 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 right? So I'd be catastrophizing this stuff. So I would be going to the moon with every information from the printout. So I'd be like, oh, wait a minute. I know what's going on. I walked here from the entrance and I sat down. So my blood's going. Okay, this makes sense. So I'm going to give it a minute. I'm just going to relax. I'm not going to go on YouTube or anything because that gets me excited. And that'll bring my baseline up. My heart rate will go up. So I'm just going to try to think about something very neutral. So I'm going to try to be calm. I'm going to sit here, make sure there's nobody else waiting, right? I don't want to be rushed because if I'm rushed, my heart rate will go up. Don't want that. So I'd sit there and be like, okay, now I'm going to bring my shoulders down. Okay, now relax. Bring the shoulders down. All right. Now let's do it again. It would be lower. I'm like, okay, that's not good enough. Let's do it again. But this isn't real world readings here. This isn't, you should be getting real world readings. Real world readings. Not, let's be as quiet as possible so you can hear a pin drop and not move your neck to the left at all. Just keep it like you're a fucking statue. Press that button and try to be fucking super relaxed. Like I was forcing myself to be relaxed during the reading. And then finally, when I found out when I saw a printout that I liked, I held on to that one, put it in my pocket, took all the rest of the fucking printouts, threw them in the fucking garbage. So I had these compulsions because of my health. I had bad health anxiety because I had these symptoms, right? I had the heart palpitations. I had all these, the symptoms, right? This is before the 70 symptoms came on, right? And then also I had these compulsions during my 70 symptoms until I knew what was going on. Before I knew what was going on, before I took the programs, before I became my own guide, I was using these. I was obsessed and using these things to keep me. I was looking for that reassurance that I was okay, right? So the thermometer, I carried that with me. I carried a pendulum with me constantly. The pendulum, well, I think I might have it in here. Now I'll use a pendulum maybe once a month, right? Before, let me see. I'll show you what I got. Here we go. See, now I would use this maybe once a month, right? And I made this from you know what this is from? This is, I used to have a pendulum, 2 pendulums at work, because if I lost one, I had one on backup. I had one in my car. I had 2 in my car. Then I would have one beside my bed, right? And these were keeping me, these were things were giving me reassurance. And I was constantly feeding that reassurance. I needed it. So, and this is before I totally knew what to do, right? Well, how to get over this health anxiety and how to stop catastrophizing and relying on, all these crutches and rituals and devices, right? So this thing right here, this is from a fan at work. This covered the fan at work, and the fan fell over, and this fell over. I'm like, oh, I'll just put this, in the corner here. I'll just leave that, and then maybe one day we'll fix it, whatever. But one day I had to get answers because I was dealing with some symptoms, right? This is, before my perfect storm. I was still working at that time. So then I'm like, well, what the fuck? I don't have my pendulum. I need answers. I need answers right now. And so what did I do is I would take a little thread from a mop, take it off, right? And I would find a little bolt or a screw, tie it on, and then I'm like, okay, let's go. I go take a shit. While I'm taking a shit, I talk to my guides, my higher self, and I get some answers. And, it's embarrassing to talk about, but fuck it. This was the reality. This was what I was dealing with. My life was on edge. I had no answers. I needed answers. And so I tapped into consciousness. And not in a good way. I was desperate for answers. I was in desperation looking for reassurance through the pendulum. And when you do that and you're desperate, it's a rocky road. It's not good. It's bad. You don't want to be doing that. So eventually I started doing the program, after my shitstorm, right? After that, I started implementing the program. I started going, okay, we got to stay on track. I stopped doing the pendulum after 6 months because, it was hard to get off. It was a transition to slowly, instead of doing it 10 times a day, I did it maybe once a day. And then eventually it was 3 times a week. And then it was 2 times a month. Now, I do it once a month just because if I'm curious about something, right? Not because I'm surviving to find out. Now it's more like, hey, you know what? I'll ask my guides. Here, let's see. Okay, yeah, that's what I thought. Cool, man. High five, right? But before I was like, oh shit, I gotta calm down because this is gonna give me the wrong answer, right? I was I was looping on shit. I was literally desperate for that reassurance, and I needed it constantly. I was stuck feeding that reassurance monster, right? And that reassurance monster, you know, I would do that, and I would be good for 10 minutes, but guess what? It would come back. The what if thoughts would come back. And this was, you know, just starting my program, and I started to figure out, okay, the brain is looking for your reassurance. It's giving you the OCD. It's making you scan for danger. And this is a program that the brain sends to keep you alive because it's perceiving danger. Your baseline is up to the roof. It's sending alarms. What you need to do is you need to take away the resistance, allow the thoughts to be there. And this is how you start to gain trust, right? This is where we start to get the cocky confidence. We allow, we ask for more. You agree with the what if thoughts, right? So I had to start implementing the methods to respond correctly to the OCD alarms. Because whenever I just gave in and did the pendulum, it fed the program that I was in danger. So I had to stop. Yes, it took me a couple months to totally stop, and I did, right? Because in the beginning, it's understandable that you need reassurance, and people go on Google to reassure themselves. And that's even worse because you always see, no matter what, when you're just going like this, right? Because you're trying to filter out that you don't see the C word. And then you finally, you're like, okay, oh, the coast is clear. I don't see cancer. All right, let's click on that link. All right, so why is my finger hurting? And it says, well, maybe you should wash your hands. It's probably because you had some lemon zest on your finger. Maybe that's why it's burning, right? So I'm just going to click. Oh, that's safe. I'll just click. Or because you have cancer. Brutal. Fuck. Then you're looping for a week, and then you think that you have cancer in the tip of your finger, and you're going to have to take chemo, and you're going to die, suffer. And the brain is, right, trying to protect you. So it sends these alarms, and you're torturing yourself. You're suffering. It's fucking hell. So I had to learn to let go of these crutches, to let go of these things that I was using for reassurance, because all they did was just feed that loop, right? All they were doing is telling my brain that, yes, we're looking for reassurance from what? Danger. So when you stop looking for reassurance from danger, that means that, okay, danger could still be there, and it could still not be there. We're just neutral right now. But the brain's going to go to, it's going to be a little bit biased and say that there's still, we'll just assume there's danger here. But you've proven to me that it's not guaranteed there's danger. Now we're going to say that there's probably danger. And then you keep going with your repetition and training your brain by showing it that you're safe. By how you sit in the fear. Not giving it safety messages, because that doesn't work. You can say you're safe to the brain 1,000,000 times, and it's like saying, can I have a glass of water? There's no difference. The way we do it is by sitting in the danger and going like this. Hey, buddy, this is awesome. Give me more. You got some more of that? It feels good. You know what? It's like I'm taking a hit. It feels good. It's like, you know what? It's like I have this deep hunger for these alarms, and I'm feasting on it like a fucking beast. Like, give me that. Give me more. That's all mine. All these alarms are mine. All mine, right? You agree with it? So you're going to go to the hospital, and this is going to happen. That's going to explode, and you're going to have blood. I hope so. You know what? I agree with you. And you're right, brain. And you're acknowledging. You're not resisting the thoughts, because what you resist persists, right? The brain needs to feel like it's getting the alarms across to you, that you're acknowledging the alarms, because it's done its job then. And when you keep with repetition, allowing the alarms to be there, but then you engage with life, right? Be like, okay, we're going to go outside, going to go for a walk, and we're going to keep doing this every day because we got a routine that we got to stick to. We're sticking to routines. We're not going to half-ass it. No, we're sticking to routines. We're going to get uncomfortable every day. Yeah, that's a part of life, right? So the brain has been sending you these alarms. You acknowledge them. You agree with them. You ask for more. You lean into them, right? You get uncomfortable, right? And you go, this is prime time. And send me an alarm. An alarm is ringing. I feel horrible physically. I feel scared mentally, right? I feel like shit mentally. This is a fucking clusterfuck. I feel like I'm going through an exorcism. That is prime time to pounce on it, and to have 1,000% trust, cocky confidence. Go, you know what? That what if thought, it's not going to happen. I fucking dare you to make it happen. Watch, it's not going to happen. Let's see. Come on, buddy. Yeah, that's what I thought. Because I said so. Come on, brain. That program you're running is bullshit. Look at the confidence I'm showing you right now. The brain's like, no, you're being a dick right now. I'm just here to fucking help you out. You know I love you. You're being a dick right now, but you know what? I agree with you. You're showing confidence. And you know what confidence means? I'm just here to make sure you're alive. Right? And I'm not seeing any danger here. So, you know, I'm not here to judge your cockiness and you being a dick. That's not my job. My job is to make sure you're alive. And you know what? I think you're safe. We're good. We're going to turn that alarm off. Right? And then the alarms start turning off. When the alarms start turning off, the baseline starts to calm down. Right? And when you stop doing these rituals of looking for reassurance, you're sending the message that you're not in danger. And then eventually you won't need them anymore because you stop doing it. You stop that habit, that routine. Right? When you stop that routine, eventually it fades out. And you stop doing it. And then you start trusting yourself. You start having confidence in yourself. And this is the journey that I had to take. This is what happened during my journey towards recovery. These little things. So ask yourself during the day. Okay, well, ask yourself now. Maybe write them down. What are some things that I'm using to feed my reassurance? Okay, this. Am I Googling too much? Stop that shit. Am I going on Facebook groups? Fucking stop that shit. Because that stuff is toxic. And it's going to keep you sick. Because you're going to think you're damaged. You're going to think you're a unique situation or a unique case because you think you have a gene defect or some sort of injury. Don't look for advice on any of the Facebook groups because you're going to be in a reality that isn't true that's going to keep you sick. Get off them. Because I'm going to tell you something. 99% of the information that's on these Facebook groups is wrong, it's bullshit, it's garbage, and it doesn't exist. The only thing that's 100% is that it's able to trick you into believing that you're sick and you will be sick. So get off these Facebook groups. So what are some of the compulsions that you're doing that keeps you stuck in this loop? Well, be aware of them and just stop them. 9 times out of 10, if you want to stop a compulsion, you just have to stop. There's not much of a transition up here. You just have to stop. With my pendulum, there was transition. There was a bit of I had to taper off and go slow. But all my other obsessions, I was able to stop cold turkey and stick to it. Right? I got rid of them. I threw them out, the garbage. Whatever it is, either stopped Googling, throw out that heart pressure monitor, right? Whatever ritual you're doing, whatever, just stop it. Just fucking stop it. Pendulum, okay, slow down a bit. All right, but you know what? Stop it. Stop it. You can stop it. In my case, you know, I can't judge too much because I did linger a bit, right? Most of the things I stopped, but there was that lingered a bit. Okay. I'm sorry, yes. You know, I'm human. Whatever. But mostly, all the other stuff, that's it. You're gone. If you're going to stop my journey of recovery, you're fucking gone. You're cut off. That's it. I was really strict. And that's another thing. I was strict about my recovery. I was fucking disciplined. I was a little crazy. I was hard on myself. And sometimes you got to be hard on yourself. And that's okay. And people talk about, you know, you shouldn't be hard on yourself. But you know what? At the end of the day, that's what got me through it. And I was able to regulate me being hard on myself later on, because later on when I was able to relax, I relaxed. I made sure I wasn't too hard on myself. That comes later. Once you do the work and you recover, that comes later.